Well, hello and welcome back, subscribers, to another Sunday Speed Paint. This time, I'm starting a fantasy encyclopedia. This will contain more than creatures, but I was inspired by Dina Norlund's Random Creature Designs Challenge. I got some random animals, a skunk, a panther, and a shrew. I took to my sketchbook, and I wanted to do the 60-30-10 rule to divide up the creatures when combining them. I wound up kind of liking this one, but the head just looks so goofy and so small, so I tried evening it out, but it just looks like a skunk and an aardvark together. So I came up with this as a rough final, and let's see where it goes. I have wanted to make an encyclopedia of my own for so long. This also extends to objects and plants. I didn't want this to just be a creatures book, because all of these creatures are going to be a part of my webtoons, The Dawn of Gales, and it gives me an extra reason to share these videos with you on YouTube without containing any spoilers for the webcomic. So if you are ever curious of any of these creatures being seen in the webcomic, if you find them and spot them, and then you go from the webtoons back to YouTube, you can see an in-depth drawing of a time-lapse of each of these species and kind of get to learn a little bit about them. For the creature design, I wanted to do the 60-30-10 rule for dividing up the creature, and if you guys would like to draw along with me and tag me in your creations, I'd love to feature them in future videos. I love to see what other people come up with the same prompts. I'm also going to say that this was me pushing, because if I went with the first sketch, it would have just been a watercolor illustration, and if I went with my second sketches, this wouldn't have turned out as well as this final illustration here. I pushed a lot of the proportions and shapes and form for this creature. I wanted to try to make the pose a little bit dynamic, but still natural for this particular creature. I wanted it to look like this creature could pounce and burrow at the same time, where this creature, it could climb up trees with its large claws, but also quickly, if it needs to, in defensive moments, use the spray similar to a skunk's. But I thought it would be interesting if this creature didn't have it spray from its backside, but perhaps sprays from its head down to its tail, and coating itself in a sort of stinky armor. I also thought that it would be interesting if this creature was an omnivore. Since these guys are about 2 foot tall, I thought it would also be a helpful attribute with its nose for sniffing for berries and bugs, using its big paws to squish small prey, but also to digging up any bugs underground, or perhaps needing to rebury any of its food in case any larger predators come along. It could spray that food, and only it would be interested in it because it would be really stinky, and these creatures could be sort of considered like a burrowing type of pest. Similar to how most people, when they see skunks or foxes, they don't want it to get into their homes because it might cause some havoc, but would still be good at keeping away some field mice. I wanted the world to feel lively when it came to like what kind of creatures would be seen in the comic, because I didn't want it to just be stereotypical horses for steeds. I've actually come up with a few concepts for combining bugs and other kind of combinations like mythical kelpies and unicorns, but of a different kind, because I didn't want people to get confused, because I have more than just anthropomorphic bipedal creatures running around. I have 4 to 6-legged sort of quadruped creatures running around, as well as some flying bird creatures. I didn't want people to get the feral wild animals confused, so that's another reason why I wanted to make this encyclopedia, to branch out and share different types of ideas to what would be incorporated in the world to make it feel more lively, and to connect the ecosystems of the world to make it seem a bit more realistic for its fantasy realm, since a lot of these creatures could coexist with each other and the world, and I didn't want to just randomly place creatures that didn't look like they wouldn't belong. A lot of these ideas are just me spitballing. I love sharing all of these rambles with you guys because it's one of my ways that I get to share my thoughts that are just stuck up in my head. A lot of the detail that I've added with Procreate's brushes is more experimental, and I'm glad that I decided to do this and not go with just the first draft that I did. The Pacshroo, a predator species that is only 2 foot 5 inches when fully grown, weighing 20 pounds. They're known to hide in the underground in small burrows, and they eat bugs, plants, and small prey. They spray a nasty-smelling musk on their food as a defense mechanism to protect their territories. That's all for today, folks. Thank you all so much. Stay possum, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!